So maybe you can't afford private lessons or private tutoring, but you still want to learn a language. What can you do? Honestly, I've been there, and I just want to say that it is entirely possible to learn a language without a tutor and without a language partner. So today I want to share with you 5 free or low-cost methods for you to learn a language efficiently, even on a tight budget. The first thing that I can recommend is investing in a good textbook. I know this seems like pretty simple, obvious things because anyone who wants to learn a language might think, okay, let me go pick out a textbook to learn the language. But if you are someone especially who does not have access to private tutoring, a class, or someone to practice speaking with, there's a few things that I think you should really look for when choosing a textbook. And I want to explain what those are. I want you to prioritize where you can textbooks that have lots and lots of audio components to them. So they provide a lot of listening practice along with scripts in the back of what is said in those listening exercises, as well as reading. Textbooks that have lots of reading sections and include an audio recording of someone reading that aloud is also really helpful. And then use that audio, whether it's the listening section, the reading section. Whenever you finish the exercises in the book, I highly recommend shadowing everything that you possibly can. If you are someone who does not have access to working with a class, working with a tutor, or a language partner, you want to have more opportunities to get listening practice, and a textbook that has lots of audio will provide that for you. Whereas textbooks that don't have so much, you will find later that your listening skills and your pronunciation skills may really struggle. The next thing that I recommend is to write as much as you possibly can, even from the very, very beginning, no matter how low level you are. Take what you're learning in your textbook and try to make your own sentences. All of that writing practice is essentially output practice, which means that you are creating the language. Writing and speaking are output, whereas listening and reading are input. Those are passive skills that are more focused on comprehension and understanding. But writing and speaking is about your ability to put things together, to create your own thoughts, pull words and expressions off the top of your head and put them together into coherent sentences. So the more you write alongside your studying, the more opportunity you're creating for yourself to practice that output muscle. If you keep doing that from the beginning, you will have a better ability to communicate, and this can transfer later into speaking skills as well. You might not have a language partner or a tutor or someone to speak with, but you can still practice output through writing. That is one thing that you can entirely control. Now, something I personally really struggled with when it came to writing was honestly just knowing, am I doing it correctly? Am I making sentences that make sense? Am I making spelling mistakes? Are these accurate? Do they make sense? I didn't have feedback or someone to give it to check it, which is something that I really struggled with a lot when I could not afford tutoring. And the nice thing is now we do have AI. It's not perfect, so take it with a grain of salt, but it is better than nothing. It is free. It is a tool that you can use. Why not use it? Another thing you can do if you really, really want to get your work checked is if you download the app Hello Talk, there is an option to put posts there and to post something and ask people who speak your target language to correct it. And people will jump in and make lots of corrections for you. Also, specific languages might have forums online where you can try and ask people to correct simple sentences. So just go online, just start Googling and try to see what's out there for your specific language, and you might find people that can help you for free. Another thing that you can do is you can use online dictionaries. Just depends on what language you're learning. You just have to go online and find what dictionaries exist. Now, I know that this might seem like, okay, Sarah, we know that we can go online and just look at dictionaries. There's a few ways you can really utilize online dictionaries in a way you might not realize that I really want to share with you. Big pitfall that I ran into was sometimes you come across new words and you don't know how they're supposed to sound. And you might be decent at the language and good at knowing kind of how you're supposed to say it, but sometimes you can be making a small mistake and not realize it. So what I'll do is I'll use these online dictionaries to actually practice the pronunciation. So if the dictionary itself has the pronunciation, I'll listen to it and I'll mimic it. Another thing that I do is I actually use Google Translate and I will listen to the Google Translate's pronunciation of it. It's a little computery, but it is still better to listen to that than to have absolutely nothing. I have found that sometimes I really understand how to pronounce a word, but then when I listen to it on Google Translate, I realize I'm actually making a small mistake. So it's a really great way to really just confirm the pronunciation when you don't have any other way to check it. Just to make sure you're not picking up bad habits and internalizing them. And the nice thing about social media nowadays is that there are a lot of people making like short form videos about pronunciation. And this ties into my next piece of advice, which is go on social media, go on Instagram, whatever, and find creators who make content in your target language. So if you are learning a language and all of your feed is showing you English, you have to search for things in your target language and start just clicking on things for the algorithm to realize that, oh, hey, this person also knows this language. We can send them videos in this language related to the topic they clicked about. I just want to tell you, if you're a beginner, you can totally do this. If you go on social media and you try to watch short form videos in your target language as a beginner, it's a lot easier to understand. And the reason is because we are all humans and the content that people make around the world are like the same. Format of how the video is created and what they talk about, it's so similar around the world that it's like easy to piece in what's happening even if you don't understand what's being said. Because I live in Korea and I do see a lot of content that people make about like visiting Korea or visiting Japan. I also just typed in into like TikTok or Instagram, I just typed in Korea, Koreabon. I found some creator who was making content about going to a cafe, and I didn't really understand a lot of what he was saying, but it was interesting to watch. I could understand from the format like what it was about, and I just started following them. And I feel like when I watch the video, I just try to listen to what I can understand from it. I don't really go in thinking, let's try to understand everything. I just try to understand what I can, and just, it's only a few seconds long, you know, guys. Like, short form is very short. You will understand some of it and more than you realize. And if you just keep exposing yourself to that, it does really help. The last tip that I have for you guys, because you're learning on a budget, you probably don't have access to tutoring or someone to talk to, is honestly just speak to yourself. You can genuinely just sit at home and pretend to have a conversation with yourself. You can talk about a topic that you like. You can pretend to have a conversation with someone. You can even just walk around your room and practice the same sentence over and over, but with different words. Like, this is a cat. This is a tree. I don't know why there's a tree in my home, as an example. You can use speaking aloud as a way to practice saying whatever you want to say. You can go onto your computer, look up the words that you realize you need, and then keep talking. But if you really do want to improve specifically your speaking skills and you're on a tight budget where you don't have the ability to work with a tutor, I highly recommend checking out this video that I made about how to improve your speaking skills. Because in that video, I talk about 5 different ways to improve your speaking skills, but 3 of those skills you can do entirely on your own and for free. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you found this video helpful. If there's anything you wanted to add or any questions you have for me, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.